Hey Noelle, it's Morgan here, and I am so stoked to see your work again, especially this one. Man, you put in so much effort. Oh, I loved it. I loved how you had the lighting and the whole like stance of him, the body. You had your like he was in you, and I can see that this is like a bit like of one of those things, those passions for you, which really came across. So thank you so much for putting in all that effort. The thing on the screen, and like it was so cool just kind of looking at it being like, dude, that's just his living room. Anyway, great work on all of that. It did really feel like I was there with you. So you've had my feedback before. I'll start with tech, and then we'll work our way through the scene. So if you want to go back and forth, and then yeah, and that'll be the feedback. So first of all, I have to tell you, I loved the beginning. Very, very strong. And like I said, your physicality and your voice was on point. The only thing I'd say about tech, everything was fine, is obviously if it's a self-tape, usually we want it to be in a little bit closer. Would have been fine somehow if you could have started like that, from the turn for the framing, and then depending on if someone's working on your camera, which I don't think they were. I think somebody was possibly on FaceTime or on a cell phone. But great work, by the way. Like, that is so much harder to work with. I was almost having to do that for my audition today, but luckily my friend came over. Yeah, so sorry, back to it, tangent. You can, start that framing, and then somehow if you can get them to kind of frame into your face and then kind of have it the regular framing from there, if it is a self-tape. And your eye line was a little bit too far away from the camera. And that's just if I'm being picky, but I could still see all your work. So that's enough about tech, because that doesn't matter. Let's talk about your scene. Yeah, like I said, absolutely loved your beginning, and a really nice reaction to John Harrison. When he said that, I could see your whole body go tense, like how you feel about that person. And I was just going to say your body, went there, but I just kind of wanted it to like really go into your soul and really let that affect you just a little bit more. I feel like you went about 75% with it rather than 100%. But I did really like that beat, because your whole like jaw went up, and so that was a good choice. And then you, who can't even break a rule, I also really liked that moment. There was a really nice beat, and then this like beat change to Marcus, use me to design weapons. I really liked that too. And it was kind of here where I realized, because of the framing being so far away and I couldn't really see your face as much as I wanted to, I kind of noticed that I really wanted you to, your body was slightly on an angle the whole time. It would have been quite cool for you to just use your space a little bit more. Your body got a little bit stiff. So don't be afraid to utilize your space. You can take a step towards him. It might have cut your head off depending on the framing, or just turn your body and then use a little bit more chest, and maybe I know that crossing your arms is not a very, sci-fi type thing to do, especially if they're not human. But, I did like how you brought your hand to your chest a few times. And actually you kind of brought it and then put it away. Like, don't be afraid to leave it there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really use it, and then choose to put it down. Don't just do it and then kind of put it down. Just go there, man. You had the right instincts to do the right things. I think you just 75% those instincts, went there on those instincts. And then I was going to say, this character, he's a badass, you know what I mean? He's strong, and your voice has a really nice, low, commanding quality to it. But I was just going to say, maybe play around with different, placements. When he's angry, maybe it's down in the chest. And when he's furious, it can be up here. And obviously my voice sounds very different to your voice, but it doesn't have to be volumes. It can be more placements. Maybe when you're really frustrated, you can kind of bring it into the front of your mouth, things like that. Just because it is a very talkative scene, there are so many emotions going on for this guy. He has so many expectations and so many heartbreaks, and things have happened, and he blames himself. So you can use your voice to portray those emotions. Because like I said, this guy, quote me if I'm wrong. I'm so sorry. But don't quote me if I'm wrong. That's the saying, right? He's not a human. So, maybe he doesn't get emotional kind of in the eyes, but they still feel it, like Thanos. That's the best kind of side by side I can think of. You can see that he's feeling things, but it doesn't necessarily have to come across like a human would feel things, if that makes sense. And I think that he does that in his voice and how he commands the room and his pace and his placement and the low and the higher and the softer and the darker and the things like that. Because you're a badass and you definitely nailed this. So I feel like that would be kind of cool to see if you were going to play with this again, which I feel like you might, because this is definitely seems like your kind of wheelhouse vibe. He's not human. Sorry, I lost my spot. I really liked this moment. War was what he wanted. War is all he talked about. You definitely used your voice there. So have a little look at that moment. And yes, the volume went up, but that's cool too. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was a really nice moment to see what I'm talking about, whereas you really utilized your voice there. And then great breath after the moment. I really saw that there. After that moment, I could see like a build of frustration here. And this is where he's about to confess about all the shit and why he's here and all the things that have happened to him and how he's not that much different to Kirk. You know what I mean? Like, he's not that much different to the person that he's talking to. He's like, you don't know me. I feel like, your beats could have been a little bit stronger here, like higher stakes. You're reliving this moment. First you're fearful because you need to save all your people. So you think you have this really great idea by putting them into the weapons, and then things go wrong and you're disappointed and you blame yourself. And so then you have heartbreak, and then you have anger, and then you want revenge, and then it's lost because your crew is your family. There are all of these like things that you can use, and you can take your time and really play with them and like dig down deep into them, so that when you do just kind of tell the guy, we're right there with you and we can feel you going through that hurt. And is the last line, is there anything you would not do for your family? I feel like the gesture there was not as strong as it could have been, and I can see why you did that. And I kind of liked it, but I think you kind of 75% went there again. So, go there. If you're going to make that decision to put your hand out, which I think is kind of a beautiful moment, it's not a normal thing for someone like him to do, kind of like, I'm not that much different to you, is kind of like that vibe that I got from you there, which was really great, a beautiful choice. And because it's the very last line, I think I talked about this last time, where I always tell people to button their scene. And buttoning your scene just basically means, like, after the final line, have some sort of breath, like some sort of way that you want the other person in the scene to feel. So, is there anything else you would not do for your family? He doesn't answer you. I thought not. That kind of vibe, do you know what I mean? Like that kind of expectation of he doesn't say anything because I'm right. Or, is there anything you would not do for your family? Huh? Or something like that. Like, I just find it always makes it a little bit stronger. I did really, really, really love the way that you delivered that last line. And I think that physically you could have just gone a little bit stronger with it and the reach out. I wanted to keep watching. I really wanted to keep watching you. That's all my notes. And I just wanted to say thank you again. I really enjoyed watching that and all of the effort that you put into it. And it was great to see your work again. So thank you. And if you have any questions or feedback, please do email Stage Milk. But awesome work on this, man. I really hope there's another sci-fi month because you nailed it. Thanks so much. Bye.